It's everybody's favorite time of the year. Pumpkin spice everything. But let's talk about some other squashes that are in season now too. Let's start with my most favorite, butternut squash. Damp towel, cutting board, butternut squash, super sharp knife. So we'll start with just taking off that top stem. We'll leave the bottom for now. This fat curve, that's where all the seeds are, so come right above that and go straight down. So you see we got just a little bit of the seed pod there. That's not a big deal. My next step is to peel it. I just like using a vegetable peeler. It takes a couple of minutes. Take your time. And one of the things about gourds, squashes, pumpkins, people don't realize that they can go two different ways. They can go really sweet or they can go savory. They lend themselves to both directions of cooking. And we're going to go with a savory route this time. So just peel it down to where you've got pretty much nothing but orange. Like I say, there's no real good way to peel a butternut squash, so just take your time. Be careful, don't cut yourself. And don't worry, we'll edit the boring parts out, like cleanup. The seed end, you're going to want to peel it as well, but first let's cut it in a quarter so it's a little bit more manageable for us. You don't have to try and hold this colossal piece of squash to try and clean it. I'm going to go ahead and take the seeds out. I'm just going to use a spoon, give it a scrape. And pull. And again, try not to go too deep. This bottom stem, you can just kind of peel away. And like I said, no good way to peel it, so. We can start dicing this. Now I'm going to do chorizo, goat cheese, and roasted butternut squash, and I'm going to leave this a little on the chunkier side. And you can go finer with this, it's all up to you, your preference. But I'm going to go with pretty much about a quarter to a half inch thick cut on this dice. Try to get them cut about the same size so that they all cook at the same time. No matter what, you're going to get these little tiny pieces, and that's okay, because we are going to roast this, and those little pieces will just char up really nice. Now my chorizo is already made ahead of time. Again, I have a video up on my chorizo recipe. Feel free to look back and get that ready. Now for that seed end, just kind of, you just gotta kind of fake it. We'll just cut it that way, and then we'll just go down this. And again, try and just keep them about the same size as the bigger pieces that you cut. one good size butternut squash will be enough to give you squash to do this recipe and to do our butternut squash risotto. It's also another previous video. Got a lot of previous videos going now. Once you get your prep done, head to the stove. Over at the stove, we're gonna add a tablespoon of butter to a preheated cast iron skillet. It's on a medium heat. Add half of a diced white onion. I'm gonna break that up. And let that saute. A little bit of salt. So we're not looking for a lot of color on these onions. We're really looking to just sweat some of the flavor out of it. Once they've lost some of that raw white color and the smaller pieces are starting to get a little bit brown, go ahead and get those off the stove. Don't wipe your skillet clean. We're going to go in with about a half a pound of the chorizo that I have made. And when you put your chorizo in the pan, give it a little shot of olive oil. Not much, about a tablespoon. Okay, once our chorizo is done, good, crumbly, cooked all the way through, use something, something with some holes in it, strainer. We want to leave that oil in the pan. Now that oil in the pan is going to be the start of our flavor for our butternut squash. So again, we're going to give it another 2 tablespoons of olive oil and a tablespoon of chipotle powder. Now, if you don't want the heat of chipotle powder, feel free to just use regular chili powder. That'll be fine. Stir that around in there. Let those flavors combine a little bit, and then we'll bring our squash in. We're going to bring in enough squash to basically fill the pan. So we used about 2/3 of the squash that we had. That was about 3 pounds of squash after cleaning. You see those charry bits of spices and chorizo. Be careful not to get too close and breathe that in real heavy. That chipotle or chili powder, it can get to you. While your squash is frying in this oil, we'll go ahead and turn the oven on and get it cranked up to about 500 degrees. One of the great things about cast iron is it goes straight into the oven. Now, if you don't want it quite so spicy, you use chili powder instead of chipotle, and you're looking for a deeper, richer, nuttier flavor, go ahead and add another tablespoon of butter. And if you're looking for a little bit more of a spicier kick, feel free to mince a jalapeno and saute that off with your onion in the beginning. Okay, we're not looking to finish it in this pan. We're going to finish in this pan, but not right now. So after you've let it fry for about 5-6 minutes, go ahead and turn it off and dump it in with the chorizo and the onions in a bowl. So you can gauge how done your squash is getting by the sharpness of the edges. They're really sharp when we first put them in the pan, and as it cooks they get rounder and softer as the squash gets softer. So we're going to put it all in a bowl, mix it all up good, Then we're going to go into a preheated 500-degree oven for about 25 minutes in and back out. Okay, to finish it off, we'll give it about 4 ounces of goat cheese and just crumble that up and go in there all crazy like. Here, there, and everywhere. And again, at this point, if you really like goat cheese, give it more. If not, a little bit less. It's finished right there, but I like to go a little extra. Give it a little pepitos to add a little crunch back in there. And a little cilantro to brighten it all back up. And again, these are extras. This is preferential, but that's ready to serve. And as usual, this dish has a lot going on. The nutty squash, the spicy chorizo, that bright cilantro pop, the sour of the goat cheese, really all works well together. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Make sure to click those buttons, like, share, subscribe, and we'll check you out later.